Commander Taehyun Park could not sleep. For 3 nights he had walked the quiet halls of the ECS Dauntless, Earth's newest starship. Tonight he stood alone on the observation deck, watching the stars. Each tiny light in the darkness was a sun, and many had planets with life. 15 years ago, humans learned they were not alone in the universe. The Galactic Confederation had welcomed Earth as its newest member, but something felt wrong about that welcome. The older alien races treated humans like children, like they were too young to understand the ways of space. Taehyun ran his hand through his short black hair. At 42, he was considered young for a ship commander. The reflection in the window showed tired eyes. His gray uniform jacket was wrinkled from too many hours on duty. "Sir?" The voice of Lieutenant Jiwoo Kim broke the silence. She stood at the door, her face serious. Jiwoo was his best officer, always calm, always direct. "You asked to be told right away if there was news about Minji's mission." Taehyun turned quickly. "What happened?" Science officer Minji Kang had been his friend since their first day at the Space Academy. Brilliant and brave, she had volunteered to join an Ardaxian science team studying a planet in the Proxima Centauri system. The Ardaxians were one of the oldest races in the Confederation, tall, 4-eyed aliens with rough blue skin and a culture built on honor and war. "We've lost contact with her team," Jiwoo said. Her hands tightened on the report tablet she carried. "When? How?" Taehyun felt a cold knot form in his stomach. 6 hours ago. Her daily check-in signal never came. Jiwoo hesitated. "The Ardaxian ship sent a message. They say there was a pirate attack. They say Minji died in the fight." Taehyun shook his head. "Pirates? In Confederation space? Near an Ardaxian military ship? That makes no sense." "I know, sir. And there's more." Jiwoo handed him the tablet. "This came through before contact was lost. It was sent on Minji's personal channel, encrypted for your eyes only." Taehyun's hands shook slightly as he pressed his thumb to the screen. The tablet glowed blue, recognizing him. Then Minji's face appeared. Her round cheeks were flushed with excitement or fear, he couldn't tell which. Her voice came in a whisper. "Taehyun, I don't have much time. The Ardaxians aren't mining this planet like they told the Confederation. They're testing weapons. Planet killer weapons. I found their secret base. They don't know I was there, but I took samples, readings. This is serious. These weapons could destroy worlds. I've hidden the data in the video cut off. That's all we got," Jiwoo said quietly. "The Ardaxian commander says a pirate ship attacked 10 minutes after this was sent. They say they fought hard but couldn't save Minji. They're lying." Taehyun's voice was like ice. "They killed her because she found out what they were doing." "Sir, that's a serious accusation. The Ardaxians are founding members of the Confederation. They have 1,000 ships for every one of ours." Taehyun stared back at the stars. "How did the Confederation respond when you reported this?" Jiwoo looked down. They say we need to accept the Ardaxian report. They say we don't understand how dangerous space can be. They offer their regrets for this unfortunate incident and suggest we send a replacement science officer." "A replacement?" Taehyun's voice was quiet, but Jiwoo stepped back. She had never seen such anger in her commander's eyes. Minji wasn't a broken part to be replaced. She was one of the best humans I've ever known. "What do we do, sir?" Taehyun walked to the main controls of the observation deck. "Computer, show me the Proxima Centauri system. Mark the last known location of Science Officer Minji Kang's team." The stars disappeared, replaced by a detailed map of a solar system. A small blue dot blinked on the 3rd planet. "Now show me the location of the supposed pirate attack." A red X appeared in space, far from the planet. "That makes no sense," Jiwoo said. "If she was on the planet when she sent her message, why would she be in deep space when the attack happened?" "Because there was no attack." Taehyun zoomed in on the planet. "Minji found something on that planet, something the Ardaxians wanted to keep secret. They killed her for it." His fist clenched. "And the Confederation is helping them cover it up." Jiwoo looked scared. Sir, what can we do? We can't fight the entire Confederation. Taehyun was quiet for a long moment. Then he straightened his uniform jacket. Lieutenant, set course for Earth, maximum speed. And send a secure message to Admiral Sung-ho Choi. Tell him I need to meet with the Security Council immediately. Tell him one of our own has been murdered and I have proof. Yes, sir. Jiwoo hesitated. The Admiral might not believe us. The Ardaxians have never lost a war in 5,000 years. Then they've never faced humans before. Taehyun looked at Minji's frozen image on the tablet. Prepare my personal shuttle and gather all the data we have on the Proxima Centauri mission. I want ship logs, communication records, everything. What are you planning, sir? I'm going to Earth to make sure the people who need to know. And then, he took a deep breath. Then we're going to show the galaxy what happens when you kill a human and think you can get away with it. As Jiwoo left to carry out his orders, Taehyun turned back to the stars. Somewhere out there, the Ardaxians thought they had won. They thought humans would accept their lies, bow to the greater power of the older races. They thought one human. Life didn't matter. They're wrong, he whispered to the empty room. Every human matters, every single one. The Dauntless changed course, its powerful engines glowing blue against the black of space. As the great ship turned toward Earth, Taehyun felt a strange calm replace his anger. The Ardaxians had made a terrible mistake. They had killed one human thinking it would end their problem. Instead, they had just created a much bigger one. Earth was coming, and it would not come quietly. 3 days later, Commander Taehyun Park stood in the grand meeting room of the United Earth Security Council. The room was built underground, beneath the old United Nations building in New York. The walls were made of thick stone. The long table in the center was made of dark wood. Around it sat the 12 most powerful humans in the solar system. Taehyun had not slept since leaving the Dauntless. His uniform was clean, but his eyes were red. He had just finished showing them everything. Minji's last message. The strange report from the Ardaxians. The impossible location of the so-called pirate attack. No one spoke. The only sound was the soft hum of the air systems. Admiral Sung-ho Choi broke the silence. He was 70 years old with a face lined by worry and command. His dark uniform carried more medals than anyone else in the room. As the highest-ranking human in the Confederation military, his opinion mattered most. Commander Park, the Admiral, said slowly, "Do you understand what you're suggesting? The Ardaxians are founding members of the Confederation. They helped create it 10,000 years ago. They have thousands of warships. Their warriors are feared across the galaxy." He leaned forward. Accusing them of murdering Officer Kang and covering it up is politically complicated. Taehyun stood straight. "With respect, Admiral, I don't care about politics. I care about justice for Minji." Whispers filled the room. No one spoke to Admiral Choi that way. But instead of anger, something like respect crossed the old man's face. President Hyejin Ryu raised her hand, and the whispers stopped. The president was in her 60s, with silver streaks in her black hair and eyes that missed nothing. For 15 years, she had guided Earth's entry into galactic politics. Usually she was careful, diplomatic. But today, her voice was hard. "We sent an official protest to the Confederation Council yesterday," she said. "They dismissed it this morning. They told us..." She picked up a data pad and read from it. "Humans must adapt to galactic norms where occasional losses are expected in frontier exploration." The room grew very quiet. Occasional losses? General Minjun Yoon, head of Earth's defense forces, spoke through clenched teeth. "They murdered our officer and lied about it." "And what does Earth say to that?" Taehyun asked, looking at each face around the table. President Ryu's mouth twitched slightly upward. "We say that's unacceptable." "Then let's hit them back," said Defense Minister Hanabe, her fist hitting the table. "The Ardaxians only understand strength. We've been building our fleet for 15 years. We can start a war we cannot win," Admiral Choi interrupted. "The Ardaxian Empire outguns us 50-1. They have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We have been in space for less than 1 century. So we do nothing?" Taehyun couldn't hide his anger. Minji dies and we just accept it? I didn't say that. Admiral Choi pressed a button on the table. A hologram appeared in the center of the room, a detailed map of the galaxy. The Admiral pointed to a small dot near the edge. Earth. Then to a large section glowing blue, the Ardaxian Empire, 50,000 worlds, 1,000,000 ships. He looked at Taehyun. If we attack them directly, they will crush us. But, President Ryu added, there are other ways to fight. Admiral Choi nodded. Which is why we are implementing Operation Memory. Operation Memory? Taehyun asked, confused. What is that? The Admiral's face was grim. The name comes from an old Earth saying, the universe will learn why humans spent so much time killing each other instead of reaching for the stars. Taehyun looked around the room. Every face was serious, determined. These people were not accepting defeat. They had a plan. Sit down, Commander, President Ryu said. You've done your part. You brought us the truth. Now it's time to explain what happens next. Taehyun sat in the empty chair next to Science Minister Yoonju Kang, Minji's mother. The older woman's face was a mask of grief and pride. She nodded. To Taehyun, her eyes wet with tears she refused to shed. For 15 years, Admiral Choi continued, the Confederation has treated us like children. They think we are too young, too emotional, too unpredictable. They're right about one thing, we are different. He stood up, his voice growing stronger. In 10,000 years of the Confederation, no species has ever gone to war over the Yao. Death of a single individual, it's not logical, it's not rational. But it's very human, Taehyun said quietly. Yes, the Admiral's eyes gleamed with something dangerous. They think they know us, but they don't. They see our ships, our weapons, our technology. Those things don't scare them. But they should be scared of this. He tapped his chest, over his heart. We are not declaring war. We are sending a message. Defense Minister Bay activated another display. The Ardaxians believe they have covered up what they did. They believe we will accept the loss of one human because we are weak. She smiled, but it wasn't friendly. We are going to show them how wrong they are. The display showed a ship, an ordinary-looking diplomatic vessel. This is the UES Remembrance, Minister Bay explained. Officially, it will carry Ambassador Junho Han to the Ardaxian homeworld with a message of peace. The Ardaxians will think we have accepted their story. They will think we are submitting to their greater power as all younger species do. But this ship carries more than an ambassador, added Science Minister Kang, speaking for the first time. Her voice was soft but steady. It carries what we call the memory seed. Taehyun looked at the ship, then at the faces around the table. What does it do? It will give my daughter justice, Minister Kang said simply. Admiral Choi expanded the display, showing the details of the ship. The memory seed is a quantum-entangled data package. Once deployed, it will bypass every security system in the Ardaxian planetary network. It will reach every screen, every neural link, every communication device on their homeworld. And it will show them the truth, President Ryu added. Every Ardaxian will see what happened to Minji. They will see the orders to kill her. They will see the lies their leaders told. They will feel the shame of what was done in their name. Not just them, Defense Minister Bay said with satisfaction. The Ardaxian neural network connects to the galactic info stream. When the memory seed activates, the truth will spread across the Confederation. Every species will know what the Ardaxians did, and they will know that humans do not forget, that every human life matters to us. Taehyun sat back, stunned. This won't hurt them physically? No, Minister Kang said. It will hurt them in a way they will feel much more deeply. The Ardaxians built their empire on their reputation for honor. This will destroy that forever. The Confederation might see this as an attack, Taehyun warned. Admiral Choi shrugged. Then they should learn an important lesson. Don't kill humans. It's risky, Taehyun admitted, but it's also perfect. When do we start? President Ryu looked at each person around the table. One by one, they nodded. The Remembrance leaves tomorrow, she said. And Commander Park, you're going with it. This was your friend, you should see justice done. Taehyun looked at Minji's mother. She reached out and took his hand. Bring her memory home, she whispered. I will, Taehyun promised. The whole galaxy will remember her name. The journey to Mars took 3 days. Taehyun spent most of it in his small cabin on the transport ship, studying everything he could find about the Ardaxians. He needed to understand the enemy, how they thought, what they valued, what they feared. The Ardaxians were proud warriors. For thousands of years they had conquered and ruled. They saw themselves as the strongest, most honorable species in the galaxy. Their 4 eyes could see in darkness. Their blue skin was as hard as armor. They lived 3 times longer than humans. But most important was their society. An Ardaxian, without honor, was nothing. They would rather die than be shamed. Commander Park? A young officer knocked on his door. We're approaching the Mars shipyards. You're requested on the bridge. Taehyun put away his tablet and followed the officer. On the bridge, the captain pointed to the main screen. There she is, sir. The Remembrance. Through the view screen, Taehyun saw the massive Mars shipyards. Hundreds of ships floated in the red glow of the planet below. But one ship stood out. It was not the biggest. It was not the most powerful. In fact, it looked quite ordinary. A standard diplomatic vessel, sleek and white, with Earth's blue and green flag painted on its side. Doesn't look like much, does it? Said the captain. That's the point, Taehyun replied. An hour later, Taehyun floated through the zero-gravity dock that connected to the Remembrance. Chief Engineer Doyen Lee waited for him inside the airlock. Doyen was short and wiry, with quick hands and quicker eyes. His engineer's uniform was covered in tool pockets. Welcome. Aboard, Commander, Doyen said with a grin. What do you think of our little surprise package? Taehyun looked around. The inside of the ship was exactly what you would expect. Clean, efficient, and completely normal. It looks ordinary. That's the point. Doyen's smile grew wider. Follow me. I'll show you what makes her special. They moved through the ship's corridors. Crew members nodded respectfully as they passed. Everyone knew who Taehyun was now, the man who had brought the truth about Minji Kang's death to Earth, the man who had started all this. Doyen led him to a sealed door deep in the ship. He pressed his hand to the scanner, and the door slid open. Inside was a small, dimly lit room. In the center stood a single clear container. Inside the container was what looked like a small silver sphere, no bigger than a tennis ball. It glowed with a soft blue light. That's it? Taehyun asked. That's the memory seed? Don't let its size fool you, Doyen said proudly. This is the most advanced piece of technology humans have ever created. We've been working on it in secret for 10 years. How does it work? Doyen touched a control panel, and a hologram appeared above the sphere. It showed a complex network of glowing lines spreading out from a central point. The Ardaxians use a neural network to connect their entire civilization, Doyen explained. Every Ardaxian is linked to it from birth. They share data, memories, experiences, all through this network. He pointed to the center of the hologram. The memory seed will plug into their main network hub. It contains a quantum-entangled data package that will bypass every security system they have. And what exactly will it show them? Taehyun asked. Everything. Doyen looked Taehyun in the eyes. Every piece of data from Minji's mission. Her discovery of their weapons testing. The order to kill her. The lies they told afterward. He paused. And one more thing. What's that? Something Science Minister Kang added. A personal message. Mother to the people who killed her daughter. Taehyun felt a chill run down his spine. He could not imagine what that message might say. The seed won't harm anyone physically, Doyen continued. It won't damage their ships or weapons or infrastructure. It will simply show them the truth and let them feel the shame of what was done in their name. And the Confederation? Will they see it too? The Ardaxian neural network connects to the galactic info stream, Doyen explained. Once the memory seed activates, the data will spread to every corner of the galaxy. Every species in the Confederation will know what the Ardaxians did, he smiled, and they'll know what happens when you kill a human and think no one will care. A voice came over the ship's communication system. Chief Engineer Lee and Commander Park, please report to the bridge. Captain O wishes to see you. As they walked to the bridge, Taehyun asked, "How long have you been planning this? This technology? It must have taken years to develop." Doyen nodded. The memory seed program started 10 years ago. Not for this purpose, of course. We created it as a way to share human culture with other species. But when we heard what happened to Minji, his voice hardened. Well, sometimes a tool becomes a weapon when needed. The bridge of the remembrance was smaller than the Dauntless, but just as efficient. Captain Ji-Young-oh stood at the center studying a star chart. She was tall and thin with sharp features and sharper eyes. Her uniform was perfectly pressed, not a wrinkle in sight. "Commander Park," she said, turning to greet him. "Welcome aboard. I understand you knew Officer Kang personally." "Yes," Taehyun said. "We were friends for 20 years. Captain O nodded. "Then you'll appreciate what I'm about to show you." She pressed a button on her console and the star chart disappeared. In its place appeared a detailed image of a blue-green planet surrounded by thousands of ships and orbital stations. The Ardaxian homeworld, Ardax Prime. Our destination. Taehyun stared at the image. "Their defenses are impressive." "Yes," Captain O agreed. "The most heavily defended planet in the Confederation. No enemy has reached its surface in 5,000 years. Her mouth curved in a small smile. "But they're not expecting an enemy. They're expecting a diplomatic mission bringing a message of peace from a defeated Earth." "And what's the real plan?" Taehyun asked. Captain O's smile faded. "This is a one-way mission, Commander. The moment the memory seed activates, they'll know what we've done. They might destroy this ship in retaliation." "The crew knows this?" "Every person aboard volunteered," she said simply. Many had friends who served with Officer Kang. Ambassador Junho Han entered the bridge. He was older than Taehyun, with silver hair and the calm face of a man who had spent decades in diplomacy. His formal suit was earth blue with a small pin showing the flags of Earth and the Confederation. "Commander Park," the ambassador said, bowing slightly. "I've just been speaking with the Ardaxian High Command. They've agreed to receive our peace delegation in 3 days. They think we're coming to formally apologize for accusing them of murder." His eyes sparkled with something like mischief. "They're even planning a grand ceremony to mark the occasion." "They're that confident?" Taehyun asked. "The Ardaxians have never lost a war," Ambassador Han said. "They've never had to apologize. They've never had to face consequences for their actions." He straightened his tie. "This will be a new experience for them." Captain O turned to the communications officer. "Signal Earth Command. Tell them the Remembrance is ready for departure." "And the memory seed?" Taehyun asked Doyen. "It's ready too?" The engineer nodded. "It's been programmed to activate during the Ardaxian welcome ceremony, when their entire leadership will be present, and when most of their population will be watching. Maximum impact." Taehyun looked out the viewport at the red surface of Mars below. Somewhere out there, across the vastness of space, the Ardaxians thought they had won. They thought humans would accept defeat as so many other young species had done before. They thought the death of one human didn't matter. They were about to learn how wrong they were. "For Minji," Captain O said quietly. "For Minji," the others echoed. As the Remembrance's engines powered up, Taehyun thought about his friend. Brilliant, brave Minji, who had only wanted to learn and explore, who had died because she found the truth, a truth that would now be her weapon. The Remembrance lifted smoothly from the Mars dock and turned toward the stars, toward the Ardaxian homeworld, toward justice. Ambassador Junho Han's diplomatic mission proceeded exactly as planned. The Ardaxian High Command welcomed the human delegation with the elaborate ceremony typical of their warrior culture. High Commander Tarad even offered a formal statement of regret for the tragic accident that claimed Officer Kang's life. From the orbital station above the Ardaxian homeworld, Taehyun watched the proceedings with Lieutenant Jiwoo. "It should be happening. Now," Jiwoo said, checking her chronometer. At first, nothing seemed to change. Then, one by one, the Ardaxian officials began to twitch, their 4 eyes blinking rapidly as the memory seed activated, bypassing their optical nerves and feeding Minji's data directly into their neural networks. High Commander Tarad stumbled, mid-speech. Every Ardaxian on the planet was simultaneously experiencing the same thing, the truth. They saw Minji discovering their illegal weapons testing. They felt her fear as Ardaxian guards surrounded her. They heard the order given by Taradi himself. "Eliminate the human. The Confederation will accept our explanation. They always do." And then, most devastatingly for a species that prided itself on honor, they felt the shame of the cover-up. "Are we broadcasting this to the Confederation?" Taehyun asked. "No need," Jiwoo replied. "The Ardaxians are doing it themselves. Their neural networks are connected to the galactic infostream. They can't help but share what they're experiencing." Across the galaxy, every species was witnessing the truth. The emergency session of the Confederation Council was unlike anything in its 10,000-year history. Representatives from all 500 member species were present, with Earth's ambassador Yunha Song standing calm and alone at the center. Chakir, Ardaxian representative, had resigned in disgrace. High Commander Tarad had taken his own life, following the ancient Ardaxian tradition for warriors who had broken their honor code. "The actions of Earth are unprecedented," declared the Zithian counselor, their crystalline form shimmering with agitation. "Deploying a neural invasive technology across an entire planet. We deployed nothing harmful," Ambassador Song interrupted coolly. "The memory seed simply showed the truth. If the truth is harmful to the Ardaxians, perhaps they should have considered that before murdering Officer Kang." The Velaran elder, oldest member of the council, leaned forward on his gravity throne. "In my 9 centuries, I have never seen such a response to the death of a single individual." Ambassador Song's expression remained composed. "Then you have never understood humans. We may be newcomers to your galaxy, but we bring with us something you seem to have forgotten. Each life matters. One human life is worth protecting, worth avenging, worth remembering." The council chamber fell silent. "Earth does not seek punishment for the Ardaxian people," she continued. "We seek acknowledgement that what happened to Minji Kang was wrong, and assurance it will never happen again, to any human or any sentient being." As Taehyun watched the proceedings from the Earth Embassy, he felt a strange mixture of pride and sadness. The Confederation had always seen humans as primitive, emotional, unpredictable. Now they understood why, and perhaps for the first time, they felt a flicker of fear. Not because humans possessed superior technology or military might, but because they had demonstrated something more powerful, the willingness to stand for a principle, no matter the cost. The absolute refusal to let a single death go unanswered. After the session, Councillor Thala of the Mendirian Republic, a species known for their logical detachment, approached Ambassador Song privately. "Your species continues to confound us," Thala admitted. "The resources you expended, the diplomatic risk you took, all for one human." Ambassador Song smiled. "That's something the galaxy will need to understand about us. To humanity, the value of a life cannot be calculated. It is infinite. We have a saying, the death of one is a tragedy. The death of millions is a statistic. We refuse to let Minji become a statistic." As the story of Earth's response spread through the galaxy, attitudes toward humans began to shift. They were still seen as young, still considered emotional and unpredictable. But now these qualities inspired a new kind of respect, and a new kind of caution. The monument to Minji Kang was erected not on Earth, but on the Confederation capital world, A reminder to all species that in this vast, ancient galaxy, a new perspective had arrived. Humanity had made its point clear. They may be newcomers, but they had brought with them something the galaxy had forgotten, that the measure of civilization is not its age or its power, but how it values each and every life within it. And the galaxy would never forget.